I would love to paint myself for like this video. What is this called? I don't have a name for it. I don't need a name for it. Anyhow, I would like to create this piece, and I'm kind of doing like a couple things within it. So for what I'm envisioning in my head requires a lot of my body and movement within my body and flexibility within my body. So I would love to become like a little bit more disciplined in my eating habits, my hydration mostly. Just like get my body in a more flexible, safe. Oh, that's beautiful. So nurturing my body into like a safe place so that I can express myself, because I've realized that one of the big things, a part of my art and part of my creativity, is using what I got, which is my body, and using that as a tool for my art. Right now I'm looking up the schedule for the ballet, the contemporary, and the modern dance classes that I'm going to be joining. Dancing to music. And one of the songs, there's two artists right now that I'm really diving into that I feel like is, so I am expressing through my movement how safe and how aligned I am with my body. And that's beautiful. So the yoga, the daily yoga, the daily hydration and eating and sleeping and resting, as well as going to the gym and becoming more toned, not like muscular, but toned. So along with the gym, I guess we would introduce, who's we? I would introduce like calisthenic like movement, and same like with the dance classes. So if I just like do all those together, the dance classes, the yoga, the stretching, the calisthenics, and the gym, along with the food, the hydration, and the sleep, getting my body into a more malleable state, a more safe within myself state. I think this is beautiful. Not only am I wanting to produce something with this, but I'm also like healing myself and telling myself it is safe to be within my body and to express myself in whichever way possible. So the other part of the concept, so those are more of like the modalities and the discipline that's going to go behind it. And for the artsy part, I would love to do like costumes and aesthetics, props, and like different placements in the home. So we have like the kitchen, the living room, like the bedroom, the bathroom, like romanticizing common places. It'd be really cool if we could get like people in the future, so we could do like two people at once. But anyhow, it's kind of like a photographer's like thing, but it's more cinematic with interpretive dance and like some B-roll reels or studio type of video. The concept I'm thinking of right now is my piano with the guitars on the wall, candle lit. I would love to get maybe Adele or something really jazzy and just like do like a fun little play type of thing. And also on top of creating an ambiance and just like a vibe in itself, I want to practice slowness and like learning how to speak slower, learning how to move slower, and very like poetic and musy. Like I just did a photo shoot, and when we were doing the photo shoot, I felt very stiff within my body because it was like new to me. This was probably, I've only done like a handful of photo shoots in my life, but never was it ever a consistent practice to where I like developed upon. And I just did my second photo shoot with this photographer, so I felt a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more ease. And so playing the music it had nothing, okay, I'm answering my own questions and I'm not speaking it. When I did the photo shoot for the second time, I was able to like tap into relaxing into my body and flowing in the movement, and playing the part that the photographer wanted to capture. And we were doing for like sensual, soft window, natural light type of thing. So just like soft movement within the body and turning and, you know, all that stuff. And there was like a couple times where I felt really stiff and I was like, ugh. And he even mentioned like, you're a dancer, why don't you just do you have like a dance or anything? And I was like, oh my God, no way. Like I got super shy and I was like I shut it down, which I'm so upset that like I shut it down when that was such a beautiful place. And I was like, whenever I feel vulnerable, I tell people, no, I can't do it. But that's not true, I can. And I was actually really happy that they asked me, because it challenges me to, you know. So, and this is what I'm begging for, is like these challenges and people bringing out things within me. So I'm just practicing. I think the more I slow down in responding, or if I'm able to catch my unconsciousness, like stopping the future, and I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop the future. I want to continuously grow. I want to expand, and I want to like push myself to points of uncomfortability, but like in a safe way. Like we're not talking stupid shit. We're talking like just shy girl stuff that I want to get over. So when we were taking the photos, there was a point where there was a song on and I was like moving a little bit, like very slow, like turning this, you know, and I started to feel within my body, and that like, it felt like a couple of minutes, but I think it was like it was a split second, but I just felt like I was in this state, and I didn't forget, but like my nervousness forgot and my body started to feel safe, and I started to like flow better in the pictures when we were doing them. And then something snapped me out of it, and I went back to like, I'm so hyper aware. I'm realizing that like, oh my gosh, I hope I'm doing this right. Is my arm? I started thinking more than just flowing, and even the photographer said like, you were just there. You were there flowing, you know, whatever word he used. And I looked at him and I was like so grateful that he noticed, because I felt the difference. And sometimes that's a little embarrassing, because it's like, oh, you witnessed me like in a raw, intimate, exposed state, and that's something I shut down a long time ago. And I started just playing the characters that other people wanted me to be, and I stopped being authentic because I started feeling way too exposed. And I've always screamed like, I want the truth and I want intimacy, but then when it was my turn to show up, I wouldn't. And I didn't know that I wouldn't, but I know now that I shut that part down a long time ago, because I was told it wasn't safe within myself. But anywho, I broke through and I got to that state of consciousness, of just like allowing my creativity, like allowing my body to flow, and I felt safe. And honestly, it felt like I was high, and there was nothing to be high on other than the experience itself. Yeah, and that was beautiful. And it's been a couple days afterwards, and I'm just like, I want to do this again. Like, I want to go back into the studio and take more pictures to challenge myself to get back into that state of flow. And I know also that since I've been practicing my recording, it has called me to be more authentic as I speak, and like it has really shown me where my mind plays its role and when my body and my heart plays its role. And it's been very interesting to see the two like get married. I mean, I still sweat when I make videos, because it's exposing, like I'm putting myself out there. And on top of this right now, might be like a little bit more information, or too much information, but I'm gonna say it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can do it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the and your lips. True. So, someone reached out to me on Visco, and they say that they follow me on Instagram, but I have no idea who this person is. And I don't get any like bad vibes. I genuinely feel like honest vibes from this person, like with integrity and such. But it is still kind of weird that like they know who I am, but I don't know who they are. Anywho, they asked for some unpostables, which means from our conversation that like photos that would expose my body, the things that like were a little too risque or what, you know, those type of photos. And he offered to pay for some, and I'm sitting here like completely challenged within myself on such a positive level. I mean, if you would have asked me this 2 years ago, I've been like judging the whole thing and, you know, making a thing about it, like ugh. But this time it feels, I'm curious. And I told them that I would get back to them about it. And I told them my standards, and that this was like a first time for me. And they said that they've never paid for photos before either. And then also in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, everyone's a liar. But it doesn't, I don't have control over the situation regardless. Even this photographer friend that I feel like I know his intentions and we've built a good friendship, that I would trust him. Like, I do trust him to take my pictures, but you never truly know like people's intentions. But regardless, I want to know where I'm sitting at within myself. And it's kind of funny because when this person who I don't know, I know it's a male, and I know that they follow me on Instagram, and that's it. I don't know their age. I don't know what they look like. I don't know if it's my cousin. Like, it was legit a thought that popped up into my head.